If anyone's asking me, I've got a great issue for the November elections. I think the Republicans ought to make LGBTQ demonstrations in front of small children an issue because most parents think it's absolutely grooming, and so do I. Well, one of the things that is not a campaign issue for the fall, and I think it should be, I want to get your opinion on this. We haven't discussed it. The LGBTQ whatever parades and public displays of just bizarre activity are happening across the country still. I
And
think
it's not even June.
if somebody was asking Barry as a political consultant, which I've done, what issue are we missing? I think a vast majority of Americans, and I mean in the 80 percentile, 90 percentile, is going to say, keep these weirdos away from my kids. Why? Because this public display, this overtly sexual activity, parades, and you know what I'm talking about, these dragon shows at libraries where the kids give dollar bills to the guys dressed up like women with fake parts plastered on them and they're half naked. I think this should be an election issue. I want you to look at this parade that took place last week and tell me if you think I've got a good idea. Do you believe what you just saw? You see how many kids are there screaming with their parents watching this?
Barry, there was a time when this type of nonsense took place that the cops would arrest the person doing this. This is our society today. It's completely backward. Everything is twisted. This is our society today. I mean,
Well,
and right.
well, first of all, I agree with you, but I want you to focus on the question. Would this be a good campaign issue for the Republicans to put out a couple of snippets like that? And you've seen worse. We played worse. And say, do you want this in your city, America? Because we don't. And make it an issue. And then literally, and I mean this literally, force the other side to either defend it or back down. My guess is they'll defend it.
They will defend it. Because they'll call it what is just entertainment, is just a parade. They're not touching the kids, but they're pushing this onto the children. I'm you know what? I'm kind of wondering why the Republican Party doesn't make it part of their campaign ad saying this is what the left is pushing onto our youth. This is what they're pushing into the country. And I think a lot of it has to come down to with that they, like most of us that are consider ourselves Republicans, conservatives, is that we believe in freedoms. We believe that if adults want to do what they want to do, they should be able to do it. But again, they should say, look, this is what they're parading in front of children. When it comes to children, as a society, we all should say no to it. And the parents having their kids there and their parents are screaming, yay, yay. And I'm like, what in the world? Where's child services? Oh, child services have gone the way of DEI as well. I mean, so yeah, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah all over again, Barry. It's Sodom and Gomorrah all over again.
Absolutely it is. And it's spreading. And I got to be honest with you. I was more concerned, quite truthfully, not with what was going on in the middle of the street where this guy's getting whipped by a feather. Geez, that's something I never want to see again. I was more concerned, to be honest with you, looking at the parents with their small children. What are the kids being taught? They're being groomed by the adults around them to think that this behavior is to be encouraged. Society will
It's
break
sick.
down completely
Yeah.
if this is a trend that grows more than this bizarre lifestyle that supports it.
It's 100% sick. I mean, it's right down sick, Barry.
Oh,
It's a demonic.
absolutely.
Now, I'm always bringing this up. It's a demonic spirit. And that's the only thing I can explain to it. It's evil. This is pure evil. And we haven't even gotten to the month of June yet. So it's about to get a lot worse.
Well,
And you know what's really disturbing, Barry? This is what you call it's a religion. That movement is a religion. It's a cult-like religion. Because if you speak out against it, they call you hateful, they call you bigoted, say
oh
you're
yeah.
homophobic, they say you're a bad person, you're not a loving person. And they push it in everybody's face and say that you need to accept it. It's a religion. Can you imagine if we went to a facility, Barry, and we said that everyone needs to see, and you have to be forced to look at everything when it comes to Israel, or look at everything when it comes to Christianity. They went out of their way to remove the 10 Commandments from the courthouse and the schools. Why? Because they don't want to be reminded of the laws, so they can do the perversion that they want to do. And then they say, well, you can't be pushing your religion onto us, but they're pushing their religion onto our society.
Well, what's really interesting, if you go back to the founders' writings, this country, the Constitution, and all of its amendments were based on biblical principles, right and wrong. And that's what the 10 Commandments are, the rules of life, without telling you who to worship, right? But to say these are the rules that you should follow in a sane society. And when the rules drop out, and when there is no morality and there is no ethics across civilization, civilization declines. And that's what we're watching.
Yeah, we're seeing it happen.